Hey guys, I thought I would do a collective reading. I haven't been on for a while. Been trying to find a new apartment and do some other stuff I have to do. But it's always nice to check in with you guys. I always get like the energy always feels good. So hopefully you enjoy it too. It's not just selfish on my part. So I'm just gonna show my dog's playing with a tennis ball in the background. If you're wondering what the grunting and nail and barking sounds are all about. Okay. Where's your ball? Go get your ball. Okay. I don't know if anyone sent Chihuahuas the memo that tarot readings require silence, but we'll see how we do. I hope to soon get a better microphone. Well, a microphone. The one that I'm using is in the computer. And like, come here, buddy. Oh. Okay. Anyway, so all right. Okay, let's get a few more cards. Also, if anybody's like hanging out and you want to ask a question, you can ask a question like, about anything. Doesn't have to be about your personal life. Okay. Random. You want to sit in my lap? You want to come up here? No? Okay. I need one of those like robotic ball throwers that dispense like chicken wings or something for my dog to keep him happy. Anyway, I plan on getting a better mic because I know I have like zero vocal projection except at karaoke. The rest of the time I'm very quiet. Okay. Also, if you guys have a favorite karaoke song, it's your signature tune. I'm curious what that is. One time, a guy friend of mine went to karaoke with me, and he did such a good job on "Break My Heart." It was very humbling for me. Like, there's some people out there who can sing who are not pursuing a singing career, but who have a lot of skill. But I think it's because he drives. He's a real estate agent. And he drives around a lot, so he probably has a lot of good like car stereo time. Or maybe he has karaoke at home too. That's like the home advantage. Okay. But like respect to anyone who can like really nail that song because there's a lot of like runs and stuff. All right. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm gonna start the reading. We'll start with the Rumi deck because it's the most like vague. All right. The impossible made possible. So you look at that, the reflections on that. What do you see? Feels kind of aggressive to me. Like sometimes it's like, oh, it's birthing a new world, whatever. But it just seems like a bullet, right? Like it seems like, and I guess like I haven't like read the news, but I think I saw some stuff on Instagram about another tragedy in the States. Like something like that. So maybe it has to do with that. So if I'm doing a collective energy reading, this sort of feels like it's very much present on people's minds, like gun violence, justice, injustice. And I feel like it's at the point now where like situations can't escape everybody's vision. You know, everybody can see what's going on. It's super obvious, and everybody knows the problems and who's causing them and this and that and the other. So and something's being done about it now, I feel like. And there's no like burying this issue anymore, I feel like, when I look at this card. And it's not just like one sector of society that's seeking justice. It's like on everyone's mind, like everyone. And it's like everyone's highlighting like, here's the problem. Like, and in this case, it's not a planet. I'm seeing it more like a bullet being projected out. There seems to be awoken more of a collective agreement, collective sentiment now. I think it's not always been the case. It's people have seen each other more as like, oh, you're this stream of people and you're this stream of people and we're separate. But I feel like there is like a uniting force that is present now in spring 2021 that is like cannot be undone. And it's kind of like sitting in the room. It's, you know, like no one can like run off down the hall and go into another room. Like everybody's in the same room looking at it and in the same room as the problem, and it's like it's being dealt with right now. And there's just like no way of like hiding stuff. And like, you know, people can complain about like is it like Edward Snowden or whatever, like being watched, or, you know, emails being looked at or whatever. There's a certain pot. Like, I'm not saying that having all your personal information being taken is good, but like in terms of some things not escaping our view, like in terms of justice and stuff, like it's helpful that like there are so many cameras, let's say, and cell phone tower pings and whatever, like it's all the facts are in, kind of thing like that. And so in the case of like finding justice and stuff, I feel like those elements of like, and I feel like these light sources are like everybody with their own ability to collect information and devices and photos and this and that, like it's all working together to kind of reject this way of life of being armed. And we're really like just at the beginning process of like eliminating this type of thing from society. But like, I feel like in 20 years, like it would be very weird if anyone owned a gun privately. Which is interesting thing to sort of see. Anyway, so that's the first card. It's kind of heavy duty. All right, here we go. This is like radical change of decks here. So I'm gonna do the Tarot of Sexual Magic card is the 8 of Swords. So normally this means like communication, like rapid communication, and in this case, it looks like very like clear communication about like what somebody wants, and it's not necessarily having to be of a sexual nature. It's just like the will of like a masculine energy is very strong, and like I'm here even though my fears and doubts had like kept me in the background for a while, but here I am, like I'm here, like I see you, I'm with you. Like, so even if, and the Eight of Swords can be sometimes like I just feel like it is what it's exactly what it looks like. It's like a very like full of effort kind of. I mean, sometimes you could see like in a different deck, like the Eight of Swords looking like overwhelmed by a situation. It seems like a good kind of overwhelmed in this case. And also it's like overwhelming like the fears, like not seeing, like let's say there was some negative communication back and forth or confusing, or like you could see this Eight Swords as like a wall, a fence, because it's like, what do I even do with this communication you gave me? I'm just going to stick it here next to the other ones that I don't really understand or know what to do with. So it becomes like a pile up of like, what? You know, and you're not even sure if it's positive or negative. It's just like, no comprende kind of thing. And okay, I feel like for these guys, it's like they've decided to not think of those communications as scary, and there's no reason to like run and hide from them. And it's like, I see this communication, even though it might have been awkward, as positive and an invitation to engage, whether romantically or like with a project or whatever. Okay, sorry. So that's kind of exciting. Like, and in terms of this stuff, like if we're reading these two cards together for the collective energy, it's like there's this collective kind of overwhelm of like what's going on and a lot of talk back and forth. And it's like there's a lot of talk back and forth here, and you could be focusing on the negative and fear and hiding and like judging from a distance, or you can just like get right in there and like fix the problem and engage in a like a loving manner, you know. So you can see this as like just living life, or you can see it as like a relationship stuff where maybe if there's someone that you've had like some confusing or direct conversation with, but that you don't really know what to do with it at this point, like the feminine energy has decided to just be welcoming and not say anything more, really, like not add to what is already there. And the masculine energy's like, I see whatever kind of awkward communication this was as an invitation to come forward, which is nice. So either way it works out, whether it's like societal or on a personal level, because we need that kind of like go for it. You know, life is meant to be lived, and that requires you to like leave the house sometimes and like do stuff, choose to do stuff. Like I wouldn't have 3 grown children if I didn't one day decide like I'm gonna have kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's mysterious and you don't really know exactly like what's gonna happen, but it's like a beautiful adventure. You know, it's a lot of work, very fulfilling. You know, and in this case too, it's like they feel very vulnerable, like when characters in the tarot have no clothes on. They're being authentic and vulnerable to each other. And so that kind of realness is like really refreshing and like pure. So it's like nice. It's like that. Also, we have the star card, which is really nice. So it could mean, some aspect of being well known and like seen as like someone who's like healed and capable, shining. It could also mean like taking time, like self-love kind of time to like regenerate and heal. And in this case, just kind of like melting into like water and like accepting it. It's like I accept my emotions. And they not only do I accept them and merge with them, they're healing me. So it's kind of like, you know, like if you have a good cry, let's say, you know, I'm not all the time, but like you tend to feel better afterwards because it's like whatever that was, you kind of got it out of you. It's not to say you won't never cry again, but it's like there's it has a function. And emotions are like almost physical. They feel very real. You can you can't like touch them with your hands, but they feel like they have weight and they can like run through your body and like affect you and stuff. And so there's a sort of like liquid aspect to them. And then if you have a certain comfort level with, you know, your emotions, whether they feel good or bad, it's really like plugging into a sort of power source. It's like the power in your wall can like run a machine that's useful, or like if you misuse it, it can like create a shock or whatever. So it's like don't see emotions as scary or negative. Just like sit with them and observe them without judgment and just see like, well, what is this world of emotions? Let me just be curious instead of like fearful, like in this card. Like the masculine energies decided to be curious instead of fearful. And that allows this productive, creative merging, if you will, to take place. What are you doing now? Anyway, so I really like this realness of these three cards so far. Come here, buddy. Come on. Up you go. Oops. Okay. There we go. You're so little friend. What do you think? You hear a doggy? Okay. Hopefully he'll relax. Anyway, so I like the realness of like we're all like sitting with our emotions and facing them and healing from that just by allowing ourselves to feel, in a non-judgmental way. Going for it, stepping out of our fear and like how some people can like overly criticize their passionate side, let's say. Like so you're not hurting anybody with that. You're just like going for it in life in general. If you if you're feeling guilty about like having passions and like going for it and having like your own inspired direction in life, you can kind of like demonize this quality of like passion and like urge and stuff to like make things happen in your life. In this case, they're just like, no, it's natural. This is, we're wired to like receive inspiration, and part of life is just deciding at some points to just like go for it and be ourselves and feel comfortable being ourselves despite like whatever kind of has been going on in the world or whatever people are like thinking about like it doesn't negate our own like life purpose and our own just despite whatever turmoil is going on in the world, it's still on us to bravely, authentically step forward and like be this passionate creator and be like forgiving and non-judgmental about ourselves so that we can heal. Because like if this character wasn't in a healing mood and she saw that being in this water as being like dangerous or like terrible in some way, like if the awareness of emotions was like painful to them and they were like trying to deny them or like see them negatively, then it wouldn't be this healing thing. But even something that was like very difficult, when you like remove judgment and you just allow elements to like be as they are, there's a greater chance of like creating this like evenness and calm in your body that like allows for the stillness of your mind and like the calmness of your body enough to like heal itself instead of always being in defense mode all the time. Like I know, like for me, like uh, just I don't know, for whatever reason, I had some like moments of stress in my life and stuff. So I have like a bit of a on alert kind of quality that I have to like make friends with, and it's like nothing bad's happening right now. Like just chill out. Like it's you know what I mean, and just getting into that like yeah, memories exist or this or that, but like it's not happening right now. Like you can take a moment to feel this calm, to kind of like settle everything. And like because you're a microcosm of the universe, you're helping the universe heal by taking this time to like just allow in non-judgment. And then I think this creates a situation where you're balanced and then that attracts another balanced or mirror of yourself to you, and that could manifest in terms of like finding a relationship suddenly appearing. Your balance, like your self-love and self-acceptance and like uh stopping from being like hyper vigilant about like stress allows this like that inactivity, that lowering of your defenses allows you to receive something, and it allows you to like not be pushing somebody away so that like you can enter this narrow gate with somebody instead of being all like scared about like, well, what are their intentions and this and that and whatever. So despite whatever's going on in the world, like yes, there's some tragedies and stuff that happen and there's some things that need to be solved in our time that we're kind of dealing with. Let's say there's like some lined pad of paper and there's like whatever, I don't know how many lines are on a page, but like let's say there's 50 or something. And there's like 50 items we need to deal with for our age, and one of them is like gun violence or like civic violence and stuff. Um, there's also the element of like I'm a person who needs to have passion and inspiration and health in my life. So it's like this would be like your 9 to 5 dealing with that stuff. But then your home life is it still has to be rich and allowing and like calm enough so that these types of energies like love and union energies can come in because you spent the time to just go like, I allow this sort of watery emotion to just inform me. Like I just sit with it and allow it to like wash over me and go like, okay, like without being too analytical, just experiencing it. Because everything has its own logic. And logic isn't always like processed in this supercomputer. It can be processed here or not processed and just like sensed, And that, being in that kind of non cerebral energy is like what brings about this type of like I'm following my passions. I'm not overthinking. My neighbor's like yelling or something. Okay. He's super sweet when I run into him, just outside, but he's vocal. Okay. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. Hi. All right. Livian Gold Tektite Manifestation. What are you doing? Okay. So the manifestation energy is like really strong right now. I don't know if I get chills too, like just talking about that. So I don't know if you guys were focusing on like, certainly everybody had time to think the last year during quarantines and stuff to focus our intentions. Anyway, it just feels really present right now. Like I think that like there's a lot of stuff that's like coming to pass that people have wanted for a long time. And if we're talking about society at large, it's like justice and stuff. And like consensus, that same kind of because this is like solar plexus kind of color. It's like a social kind of it just feels like social consensus that leads to like abundance because we're all in like in agreement over allowing like a certain thing to come through. So that's like on the collective level, but also on a personal level, people are like cranking up their personal sunshine here and in a non like cerebral way, like living through that. Like I want to live, I want to be a source of life, like to others and in my life. And I'm just gonna glow. I'm not gonna really think about like what it means to glow, but I'm just gonna glow and then that's gonna like attract situations and people and like love and companionship like into my life. That's cool. Then we have Shadowkite, the teacher. I don't want to put my glasses on. Okay, wait. I have, I have the divine wisdom of the universe within me, and I openly share it with the world. There we go. It's fuzzy, but I can read it. Um, yeah, so you have divine wisdom, and it's like, do you use it? Like, it's kind of like having like a secret passport in your purse or in your back pocket. And it's like, how often do you use this secret passport of yours that like is good for like going anywhere and thinking anything and whatever? Unlimited joy, you know? So sometimes we get into the world and like just give little bits and pieces of that and scatter it around. But I suggest that like now is a good time moving forward, in 2021 to be a bit more bold about being ahead of the curve in terms of being like joyous and expansive and like not necessarily having to know exactly like going from your intuition and not having to like have like a super logical breakdown of like why I'm doing this like rational. Get used to shining your light because like that will bring about more manifestation than kind of like when I look at this card I see more it's like scattered type of a mix of energies and stuff and like getting used to getting your toe in the water of like, I'm gonna express this part of me a little bit, and then I'm gonna go back to like what people are used to, but this thing is sort of there. You know, it's kind of like how some people are like weekend warriors or weekend partiers or whatever, like where they're super regular the weekdays, and then on the weekend it's like he's so crazy. Like, but I think you can like blend it a bit more where your inspired self is a bit like leaking into all aspects of your life. Maybe it's been too long since like you were reading like this. Okay, hopefully you're enjoying it. Then we have Sunstone Empowerment. I'm empowered in all areas of my life. It's something we can forget easily because like we love to limit ourselves because like some joker in our life has turned to us and said like whether it's a teacher, parent, sibling, friend, or whatever stranger, um who's like put limits on us in terms of like our capabilities or you know kind of stuff. And it's like you can choose to roll with that, or you can choose to be like these guys and be like, I just like living. It's okay. Like I'm good. I don't need to take negative words. Okay, that's my ear. So it's important for you to remember to reinforce that you are empowered in all areas of your life. Like, chips can really be down at some point, but like your mind is free to think of the best thoughts. And that radically changes, like that just like Tetrises everything down like differently. And it's like just a practice, like going to the gym that you get into, and then you see the results. Because you're not going to get like the spiritual abs of steel unless you like put in that time of going like, oh, I see my mind's like kind of wandering like somewhere negative and acting kind of sketchy. I'm going to bring it back to like what I want to actually work on and create in my life. I feel like my guides are telling me to mention that I do distance healing work for the public, and I think like as of today, my website is down, but it'll be back up like tomorrow. And you can also contact me by the email that I put in the thing if for some reason my website is not visible. Um, but it should be back up like tomorrow. But I'm just saying, yeah, okay. And that's something I've been doing since 2003. And when I do distance healing, I give psychic reading along with it simultaneously. And within an hour, like people feel like a lot better and like have insight into like their soul purpose, and everything's pretty much like cleaned up and good to go. Like it's like good. I try to do as good a job as I can, thinking that maybe this will be the only healing session somebody will have or need in their lifetime. And so I really do my best. And also, sometimes that is enough for some people. And then some people come back because they're just like, oh my gosh, I love feeling this good and up leveling and whatever, getting more confident and seeing things from a new perspective and stuff. So it's like a really cool thing to do. I enjoy it. It's very every single soul. I mean, it's different, and it's always amazing to me just that there's no repetition from one healing session to the next. So, yeah. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to contact me. Okay, then we have gratitude, hidden night. I'm grateful and this okay, wait. I don't know where my glasses. I'm grateful and this living energy fills every single cell of my being. Okay. Like gratitude is like it's like turning it's like let's say it's the equivalent of like renting a room with like 7 roommates. And then when you're grateful, all of a sudden your room expands into a mansion with a yard and privacy, and it's like it makes your life bigger and more expensive and more abundant. But without getting into that feeling of gratitude, things can feel quite small and closed in. So it's like a useful kind of tool to change your life quickly. Yep. So, because like everything is like frequency and mindset, and then the rest of life kind of follows suit. It's like ordering. It's like you're at the drive-through, and instead of ordering like the same old day that I've had every day, you order something else. And you say like, my day is gonna be full of miracles. And I am grateful for them, even though I can't physically see them. I can feel their presence. I can feel the possibility that they exist, and that is so cool and great. And then that kind of setting that vibe creates your better day and like cool things to happen. Um, just, 'cause like everything's energy, and if you're just like asleep at the wheel with energy, like just random stuff will happen, and it won't be like this kind of pure engagement in life that you could be having. Then we have these two cards, a strength card. This is like not being fearful about what stuff is like in your life. You know, it's like, this thing's been bothering me. I'm just gonna step up to it and just go like, what are you? You know, and maybe it's not that scary. Maybe it's just maybe it's just a matter of closer inspection. Like for instance, like I have this shack in the country that needs a bit of repair, and some neighbors were like in for the second time in 20 years, different neighbors now, but trying to encroach and like claim that like, oh no, people aren't here enough, like I'm gonna take over this property and stuff. And it could make me I could get scared of that line and go like, oh no. Or I can just like walk up to it and go like, why are you saying that? Like who are you and like what are you doing? Anyway, so I dealt with it calmly and just, laid it out for people that needed to know, like the person trying to encroach and like other people in the community who like need to know the stuff. It's like you don't have to be like scared by some willful force. You just have to like go, okay, like just calm down and like what is this? What is like just break it down calmly and then just know like where you're gonna proceed from there. And that gives you this like there's this infinity symbol above the head of this female character. So it's like balancing inspiration with like what's happening on earth. Because like sometimes our solutions come like inspired when we're calm, like when we're in this state of receiving and just allowing. Because if you're like overthinking, you're not gonna have this kind of peaceful sitting in this healing pond of emotions thing. It would look like waves and clouds and rain and stuff. Like and you have to like calm yourself down to like have this state of mind where you're like, I can look at anything that's going on with this balanced perspective and just know that like the universe wants balance and I'm part of that. I'm like one of the agents of balance here. And so I have the right to examine things and like find fearlessly like look at it, and find out what it is so that I'm not afraid to like live my life. Part of that is knowing that you do have spiritual help, like giving you ideas and nudges and signs and stuff like that to like, and sometimes in order to get those, in order to even get the help, just or companionship or support to come forward and help us, we need to be in this calm receiving state. So if we're just like too hyper and stuff, we're not going to be like an attractive person for someone to like come up and like say, hey, like I like you, or I want to help you, or whatever. Okay. Then we have the death card. Okay, let's throw these on. This is just like a casual read, so that's why I'm being casual. But I'm also like holding a dog in one hand, and okay. There's a lot going on in this card. I'll let you look at it for a second. Let me see what you see. So I'm kind of noticing these kids kind of praying near the horse's feet here. Like it's like the king has been like toppled over, and this kid is praying, like mourning the passing of like a beloved father figure. Yeah, and I kind of feel like the same energy of like the strength card of like this uh priest like figure confronting death here. Because like I feel like in this card, like these other people can't see the spirit of death, but this priest can, maybe because they like meditate and stuff. Um, and that it can be discouraging for people to be like, why did this invisible force come in and do this, that, and the other? But like someone who meditates can have a dialogue with the invisible and get answers about like why stuff happens. And that can give enlightenment. Like this tall hat is like right in the sun here between these two towers. It's pretty like a heavy duty card. Okay. There's like, I feel like in this case, like this death, presence of death is like with this flag of like creation, like rebirth, this like rose symbol. Things are changing. Like I feel like if this is the collective reading, this is like sort of the announcement. Like things are different now, like radically different. There's like a new setup now, and I don't mean like in a scary like political way. It's like I mean it in a spiritual sense. And like people can get hung up on like the pieces of like how it came about and get like psyched out by it and fearful and feeling frozen and whatever. But it's like in order to get through these like times of like great upheaval and change, the only thing that keeps us steady is our spiritual connection. And when I say spiritual connection, I don't mean necessarily like going to church. It's something that we all have a capability of like calming ourselves down and meditating and just being at one with everything, and in a like not using your brain on overdrive trying to go like, what do I feel, like what is that, just like allowing. Just like when you're standing next to a waterfall, you're not going like, why did all those drips go over the edge? Like you're just observing it. So kind of be like that with yourself and the world so that you can have this calm state so that you're able to get messages from spirit about like why stuff's going on and like where you fit in the great universal puzzle and stuff. So you're not like on the ground crying and getting like upset because like there's been a change, you know. Okay. And in order to like have this spiritual discipline of like allowing and listening, yeah, it might take a bit of time for some people to get in that zone before you can like kind of wear these so-called like robes of mastery, you know. Um, but making any effort at all is better than not. And it does grow and improve just like any kind of effort you make changes your life. It's like I've been for the last 2 weeks, I've been like learning Italian. It's just like I don't know why, like for some reason I just got like really the idea of Italy just started making me really happy and then I was like watching videos on like beautiful areas in Italy and stuff and I've been like a few times in my life just to like Venice and stuff and it's really cool. Like anyway, so I like decided, you know what, if I'm ever gonna visit again, I'm gonna know some Italian and now like it's like I've weirdly learned quite a lot of it. Like I don't know how to like I could I could listen to people talking and know what they're saying, but like perfectly phrasing something would be a challenge. But it's like at least I can understand what people are saying. And I can sound like I know what I'm doing on when I'm doing the lesson, but probably if I tried speaking like Spanish or French would come out. But anyway, I'm just saying the mind can like grow and learn and change you. It's like now all of a sudden in my brain there's some Italian running around in there. So like I might like be trying to think of something and then I'll be thinking in Italian. It's like, that didn't happen a month ago. So like if you think you're bad at meditating or getting insights, if you do it even for a week, you'll get better at it and it'll just keep growing and growing. And it'll just be a great sense of peace in times of like what is going on, you know? Because we can't always rely on the person who's like awesome at it. There's just because someone's psychic doesn't make them a good person always. Like it's like how you use it, you know? It's like so it's better if you have your own access to that so that you can like cross reference how you feel with like what's going on or what other people are saying or whatever. Because you're living your life. And like that's what makes this so fun is like I'm living my life. I'm being authentically me. There's no other me. There's no other this person. This is like a very real experience and like I'm not being overly judgmental about myself or whatever. Like by just passionately being me. Okay. And then we have Page of Pentacles. So we're getting this kind of like timid, solid offer coming in. Could be like someone younger making this offer or inexperienced on some level, inexperienced at giving something solid. You know? But it's like they had enough focus to create and or collect this shining coin, you know, like it's sort of like if you've decided to have like a side hustle, the fruits of your labor are like starting to show up. So either the faith you have in yourself, that you supported yourself, and then you feel different and you feel stronger, and this is like allowing you to be like respect yourself more, therefore people around you are respecting you more, like it's creating more abundance in your life. It's either like that, like a new kind of new attitude, or in some cases it can be someone coming forward with like a, solid offer, but that's like, when I look at this card, it's like they don't even really know what it means to offer this. They're kind of like not on solid footing, They're like even examining it themselves, like, what is this? At the same time, like admiring it and offering it. Or you could almost say, like, maybe they're just admiring it and you just happen to be walking by. Either way, there's someone in your environment who has like created something of value that they're willing to show. And like maybe if you have like the proper reaction to it, it's something that they would want to share with you. But you need to respect it as much as they have. Like in this case, this person has worked very hard and made something out of nothing. And they're not going to let you like just grab that from them. Like you have to be also admiring it. Like, look what you've done. Like, wow, like good for you. And it's made them see like some beauty in life, and like how moving forward with your dreams can manifest into something real that you're building on, that you're starting to build on. And being around that kind of abundant mindset can help you discover your own abundance and create it. It's not like gold digging to like hang out with someone who's good at manifesting, who has this kind of focus. If you're not taking anything from them, you're kind of like just vibing on that mindset of like, yeah, like people make stuff, like people can have self-respect and listen to their own passions and like get to this point where they're like made this like golden disc out of from just their heart and mind, and time that they put in. It's kind of like really beautiful. And there's also we have the Knight of Cups also. So like it kind of feels like someone who's either less experienced than like a someone really grown up. It could be someone older who just doesn't have as much experience creating stuff. Like let's say you're someone who's like younger than me, who like kind of grew up on dating apps and stuff like that, and you've never like been sort of it's never been really necessary for you to like create a real relationship, let's say, where all the noise is cut out and you're just focusing on creating this one beautiful, functioning, worthwhile relationship. That can sometimes feel one-sided because like we can't expect the other person in the relationship to do exactly as we do. Like there's a certain amount of like I just enjoy being good and creating some kind of stable, beautiful thing. Whether the other person's capable of that or not is, not really my problem. I'm like my life is beautiful, that kind of thing. Anyway, so there's this energy of like I'm doing this, like I'm eliminating the noise and all the other characters so that I can like try making this beautiful thing. And I'm gonna like with respect come forward and like offer something loving, offer my emotions. Like, yeah, I might feel guarded, but like spirit, this like white horse, spirit is guiding me to do this, and spirit will carry me and do the effort of making this work. But I have the faith that like love is good, and I'm gonna like proudly prance around on this horse and be like, I offer love. I'm the type of person who offers love. I'm the type of person who puts the time in to offer something solid that can be built upon. Like right now I have one pentacle, but I'm gonna make 10, you know. I can make 9 and then get together with like an awesome partner and have that 10th pentacle to make everything like perfect, you know? So there's this nice kind of focus and bravery in light of the fact that you might not have like all the experience in the world to go like, you know what, it does feel good to be good, and it does feel good to create something solid, and I'm gonna do my best and respect myself in the process and be in the space of allowing like love to come in, partnership to come in, whether it's love or like working together to create something. Because I have decided to love myself and accept me in the world at this time, no matter what's going on, and just sit with that and be at peace. And just know that if I calm my mind, if I calm my fears, you know, if I shut this guy up, if I calm my fears and prejudices, I can like just move forward and allow myself to really just have a wonderful life, like positive, passionate experiences in life. And it's not just like love making, like it's like creating something, you know, being authentic. Okay. All right. All right. So then we have a few more cards. And we have the Eight of Swords. And we had the Eight of Swords already, so this is like double message. In this case, I feel like this is like a lot of like online attention. You know, if you're like, I tried like having a dating app for a while, and it really felt like I had my own like human resources company or something. Like, okay, who are you? Like, what is like? There's a lot of like details going through, like a lot of information coming at you, and like who are you? What's your objective? What are you trying to say? Like, um, and they're all sort of aimed at like this creative flower, you know, awkwardly kind of like being too aggressive or whatever. I don't know. It looks like in this card. So there is like, you know, it's it's possible to find this situation of like opportunity for communication and love to seem overwhelming, and you can like get wrapped up in like the negative aspects of it, just like in this case you can get wrapped up in the negative aspects of like all this stuff that's going on in the world, all this communication that's happening. Or you can just say like see it differently, instead of like stress, just go, yeah, there's a lot of, because of the nature of our world right now with the internet and everybody communicating, it can seem overwhelming, but at the same time, you can also just say like people communicate in this day and age, and there's something beautiful to be had in life simultaneously, and we don't need to get all freaked out and judgy about like this realization that there's a lot of activity. Like we can still kind of calm down and be authentic, take our focus off of the negative, and just get down to business about like what we want to create. But like, you know, you have to be able to have this going on and this at the same time. Be this person in this life. And then we have the Knight of, okay, what is that? Knight of Pentacles. So again, this is like a younger, like more inexperienced type of vibe of like offering something solid. But it's really beautiful that we've gotten like these 3 cards of like offering like something solid, something loving. I mean, it could be that you're getting multiple offers, but it could also just be like this offer is like a new beginning, solid. It's like a romantic, maybe perhaps immature, but like it has some solid footing because it's like balanced by the pentacle too. And then it could quickly progress into something more serious. You could either read it as like you have many options, or this thing could start out as like, hey, how's it going? Trying to like start to build like a dialogue. And then it's like, how's it going? I like you, you're cool and attractive. And then things go well and it's like, I really like you, what are we doing here? So it's kind of nice. And we have the twin flame card. I don't know if I've ever pulled this card from this deck, so this is kind of radical. Yeah, I feel like I've never even seen this card, and I've had this deck for a long time. It's kind of freaking me out. Like, maybe there are some people who are having their, soulmate come in at this time, and it's like maybe they look different than you thought. You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting someone that nice. um, I wasn't expecting like in this case, I'm seeing it as like a man, but it's like a male energy. Uh, a man who's like capable of like swan's mate for life, right? Someone who's capable of mating for life and who's like optimistic and chill, like kind of eternally youthful. Like I had this Zoom meeting with someone I was meeting for the first time. Like it was like a business. It was like, but like there was 4 of us on the call. But like I was really struck at how youthful and just this eternal kind of energy, like just pouring off of this woman. I was like, wow, like she's really ageless. Um, anyway, it's the same type of energy I feel like coming off of this card where your soulmate, um, it's almost like I'm not used to meeting people like this. Like this is kind of foreign to me. It could be literally foreign, like from another country or what, foreign in the way that like you're just used to people who are a bit more harsh or confusing. Like this person is just like really pure and unapologetically into the idea of a relationship. It makes me laugh because it's like hasn't been my experience to run into people like this, but I'm not against it. And anyway, to have this card pop up um, for this collective reading means there's some soulmates in the house, ready to talk, ready to be like present enough that you know what they look like, or you've met them, and they don't see, like, they're not giving you direct stare, they're more just like listening, just vibing on being alive and stuff in a kind of no pressure way, and just being in general appreciation, and like you're part of that. It's kind of like they walked into a movie theater and like chose a seat, and the seat happens to be next to you, and they're cool with that because they felt drawn to you, and they're not questioning it and going like, "Oh, should I sat like 3 rows ahead?" They're not uh, judging themselves on it. Like they're just in a really grateful, open. Anyway, I'm I hope you guys meet someone awesome like this. Maybe you have already. Maybe they're coming in now. Because we did have like this lover's energy, so it's like there's attraction. There's attraction, like I said, if you can calm your fears, like have the strength, just look at stuff for what it is without like getting like overly triggered about this or that thing. Just being like, well, what is it? What does it mean to have to do this task or whatever it is that you need to do, where you can like just relax into it so much that like you're getting insights. You're not like sending information out. You're calm enough that you can receive information. Okay. So then we have nurture yourself with Mother Mary. So a good deal of life is like self love, self respect, and then going out in the world and like being your awesome self and receiving like great situations and stuff. But you really have to do this work of nurturing yourself. And like in the case of Mother Mary, like, everybody was being like super critical of her, like, how'd you get pregnant? Like, what's up? Like, who's the dad? Stuff like that. Like, the odds were against her. But living in faith and feeling divinely protected and following that guidance, like, led her to safety and her child's safety and stuff. So, you might not feel like welcome in every corner of your life by other human beings and stuff, but like we can live in total peace and balance with people if we start things off with this vibe of like self-love, self-respect, and then that kind of like tetrises the world around us to like be at peace. So heavy. Okay. Then we have peace offering. I know it's like I'm not sad right now, but I feel that like energetic feeling of crying. It's weird. So I just feel like it's yes, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of information coming and going, but there's also this incredibly beautiful stuff going on, like soulmates coming in, marriages for some and offerings of love and great societal changes going on, but it's like we need to like stay cool and be like at one with the moment and just look at stuff directly and go like, oh, what is this? Instead of freaking out. Then the last card we have is peace offering. White buffalo call woman. I'll let you look at it. Let's throw these on. So I think I need a new prescription because I keep going like, where's the sweet spot for focus here? Okay. Nowhere. All right. I'm just trying to see what I get out of this card. It's just like I just feel like this feeling too. It's like really so there's a lot of emotions I think like in the collective right now. It kind of feels like living two realities at once. Like see how this half of the buffalo is kind of like regular, and then this half has this like cool woman, and he's like more hairy on this side, and there's more like light shining in this half. So that gives me the feeling of like, like the infinity symbol like heaven and earth circulating one to the other, you know, necessary for each other. And this like kind of closed circuit of flow. And we need that kind of in our own lives too. So when you're just like living your daily life, it might look like the regular, like plain half of the buffalo. But keep in mind you're like a beautiful spiritual being living on earth, connected to everything. And it's like, don't limit yourself believing you're not also this, simultaneously. And maybe not everyone will see like how like the beauty that you see in yourself or like in the world. You don't need to walk down the street with everyone high-fiving you like you're doing a 10K and getting cups of water and stuff. Like it's not how it works. So like you have to line up your own cups of water before you start the day and just like sort of picture your day and go like today's a day of miracles and gratitude. And I know that as I go throughout my day, there are going to be people who are kind to me. There's going to be these like beautiful little moments that buoy me along. And I look forward to being in those moments. And like, you're like helping uh, create your day, setting the vibe. And then that kind of calls people to like take part in this cool day that you're having. I mean, yeah, I could go on and on about that subject, but I won't because it's already been a while. It's been over an hour, I guess. Yeah, so I hope you guys like the reading. If you want to contact me for a healing session over distance, it could be over email or video. If you like this video, it helps me if you subscribe. If you like it, you can like it. It's no pressure. But like subscribing seems to help. And like the ultimate goal would be to like break 1,000. And if you're part of my army of 1,000, I would appreciate you so much. Anyway, so I'm just gonna send you guys some healing energy for a second, and then I'll say I'm just gonna look weird closing my eyes for a second. Yeah, I feel like there's some people watching the video who are going through a lot, but hopefully you felt like a little bit of peace there. The difference between feeling in turmoil and peace is just like awareness that peace exists. Like it can be even a thing in the buffet of life. Like it's always present there for you to feel if you have the awareness that it could even exist. You know what I mean? So try to see the best in yourself and be aware that the goodness exists at all times in every moment. And it's like, can we access that? Can we allow it to be present by being aware of its energy? So if you take some time meditating, go like, what does the frequency of peace feel like? And then when you can kind of like zone in on what it feels like, it's easier to like access that at any moment and go like, okay, I'm not really like liking where my mind is right now, so I'm gonna like go to that peace feeling I already researched and I know the frequency, so I'm gonna amp myself up to be like in that vibe. You know what I mean? Like you have this beautiful gift of living your life, and it's like being an orchestra conductor and deciding like what the note will be, So don't just like leave that up to everybody else. Don't let it be like random and like life is happening to you. You need to, I'm just gonna find that card again. You need to be the person who's just like stuff's going on in the world, but like I'm gonna be this frequency of hope and love and like following my passions and love life. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys later. Dr. Disco is gonna wave goodbye. Talk to you later. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.